Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ. Today, September 1, 2011, 2 a.m., Birmingham, Alabama. And I want to go over the last few blogs that I just posted. And all the blogs stayed on the same subject because to us, to America, right now, there's not a more important subject than what I gave you. And when I say more important, look, this country can go one way or the other. It can pick up speed in what it's doing now, and it's not doing anything but crashing, or it can start slowing down, and then you'll have time to get off of the bus, In other words, this month, September 2011, you have two things that's going to happen in Israel. You're going to have a flotilla that's going to go in September, and it's a provocation, it's a posturing, and they want more than anything for Israel to attack them or to come aboard and start a fight. And I believe that will happen first, and then after that, Israel will probably end up having the rest of the world all over their case because of what they did. Although Israel has a complete right to do it, they'll be condemned for it. And then on the heels of that, you'll see that the Palestinians are going in for the kill. They want the statehood. They want to become a state, and to do that, they're requesting half of Jerusalem as their capital city. And it looks today, as of right now, it does not look good. It looks like America will stand by the vote. Looks like America will not veto the vote. Obama is Muslim, and those are his people. His allies are over there. We're not Obama's allies because he's not American. He's not Christian. He is an Islamic Muslim, and he's not from our country. So, I think the worst. I believe that they'll okay the statehood, and if they do that, then Jerusalem, in a very polite way, will tell them, you better go get your guns because you're not getting anything. And God stands behind Benjamin Netanyahu as he will be speaking. And they won't get it. They're not going to get it. They may get a statehood, but they won't get any part of Israel. And there'll probably end up being a war. And the war may not come that day, that week, that month. It may not come for 6 months. But you can bet one thing. If we let it go through and we vote yes, or we don't veto, our war starts that moment, that very moment. In fact, it already started back in April. We've had excess of $100 billion in damages. That it just doesn't stop, and it's continuing. And I think that is just the tip of the iceberg of what God is going to do to America if we go in there and do not stand by Israel. So, you know what I'm talking about. You know where we are. We're on the same page. Stand with Israel. Let me tell you how to protect yourself. You tell God. You tell him. So God, I know my state is not for Israel, and I know there's a lot of neighbors of mine that aren't for Israel, and then there probably will be a lot that are for Israel, but say, God, I want to be with Israel. I want to stand by them. I want to support them. I want to pray for them. I want to pray for their peace, their safety, and their needs. And I want to pray that Israel will remain Israel without a fight. Just pray for Israel and tell God you're standing by Israel no matter what. And then the judgment that comes to the United States by not standing with them will be like the blood's lamb on your door. It'll bypass you. It will not hurt you. Remember that. You as an individual can protect you against the judgment that's going to come from God. Okay, let me get off of this. The second thing I want to tell you is I've got some, I don't even know what to call them, to be honest. I've got 100 plus titles of information that I'm going to give you. Keep in mind the Bible said only in the last days will these books be fully disclosed. And it's taken great men to do just that. From Chuck Messler, John Hagee, Jack Van Impe, Perry Stone, Hal Lindsey, John Ankerberg, David Jeremiah. These people are looking at these verses, and every time they read part of Ezekiel, someone finds, hey, look what I just found. I've never noticed this before. And even in Genesis, hey, wow, look what I found in verse 3. Wow, I didn't know that. I never saw it that way before. God is making these books known. They're understanding them now. And by the understanding and what they're finding now, they're finding things that's going to happen in the tribulation period here on earth. And they're horrible things. They're horrible things. I'm not going to hold any punches. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you what every one of them are. They're horrible. You're going to see things come from the deep. The deep means inside the earth will come out. I don't mean lava flows. I mean things. You'll see things deep in the water that lives there. They'll come to the surface of the earth. They're here. They're here to hurt you and to fight you. And then you'll see things come from above that will come to earth. They're here to hurt you. They're here to fight you. And you're looking at monsters. You're looking at aliens. I've got so many of these things, and I'm going to just tell you this is the title, and this is what it means, and I'm going to go to the next. This is the title, this is what it means, and I'm going to go to the next. I got 100 to 150 minimum, and I bet you by the time I sit down and start doing it later in this weekend, that number will double by then. People, we're winding it down. We're winding down to an end. So you get yourself right so that these things won't come and get you because they can't see you. They can't see you because you're not here. God took you away so you would not have to experience it. He kept you from that terrible hour. God bless you. Jody Wolf EXPOZ.